Well, hello, Scrappers. Mike here. Welcome back to my channel. Once again, it's time to answer your most frequently asked questions. And also, we're going to have some channel announcements because there's going to be some changes coming. So you might want to hang around if you're a frequent watcher of my channel because things are going to be changing a little bit here going forward. But some of my videos I put out lately have created a whole lot of questions and comments, which, get more viewers. So I guess we're going to get more questions and comments. But whenever I see a lot of the same comments or questions coming over and over again from different people, I think maybe I should put together a special video to answer some of those questions. So that's what this is, as well as channel announcements. So. All right, so let's see. My series on forbidden chemistry, which by now is probably the second video in the series, is out. Although it's not out at the time I'm recording this, it is scheduled to come out. So, but the first one, where I made potassium nitrate from commonly available chemicals, that was a very popular video. I can understand why, and a lot of questions and comments with that. And one of the more popular ones was use potassium hydroxide instead of potassium chloride to make potassium nitrate. Because, in the video, I used potassium chloride and calcium nitrate to make potassium nitrate. And that works really well. It does have a few issues with it. But some people are saying you should use potassium hydroxide instead. And yes, that will give you a much cleaner potassium nitrate. That is true. There won't be any calcium chloride in it, which is quite hygroscopic. The crystals will be easier to clean up. The calcium hydroxide that's formed will be easy to filter out. Yeah. There's pluses to doing that. The minus is, well, there's a couple of minuses in my opinion. First off, potassium hydroxide seems to be a lot more expensive in a lot of places than potassium chloride. So that's one reason I chose it for this reaction, just to keep costs down for people. And then secondly, in a lot of places, not only is it more expensive to buy the potassium hydroxide, but you have to pay for shipping of a hazardous material, which jacks the price up even more because potassium hydroxide, very caustic. It's considered a hazardous material. You generally have to pay an extra shipping charge for that in a lot of places. And being a hazardous material, in some places, it's much harder to get. Okay, so again, this was all about being able to make potassium nitrate in places where a lot of chemicals are hard to get. A lot of countries where certain chemicals are hard to get. So potassium chloride, a lot easier to get a hold of, generally cheaper than potassium hydroxide. But yes, if you can get potassium hydroxide and you don't mind paying a premium for it, it will make better potassium nitrate. There is no doubt about that. So all you folks who said that, you're right with those caveats that, it's going to be more expensive and it might be hard to get in places. Okay, another one was people were asking, well, if your ultimate goal is to make nitric acid, why are you going through the trouble of making the potassium nitrate first from the calcium nitrate? Why don't you use the calcium nitrate directly with sulfuric acid to make nitric acid? And you can do that. Again, that is very doable. You can do that. There are a few problems again with that. The main problem is you're going to make plaster. All right, that's going to be your byproduct. Calcium sulfate, also known as gypsum, also known as plaster. So if you do this in like a boiling flask in a distillation system, you're going to have a heck of a time getting that gypsum out of the boiling flask at the end of the reaction. Pretty much nothing dissolves it, and if it decides to stick to the glass as one hard lump, you're kind of screwed. So yeah, that's the reason I didn't do it that way. Voice of experience speaking here, okay? But there are ways to make nitric acid with sulfuric acid and calcium nitrate if you don't mind basically possibly destroying the reaction vessel. you can do it that way. Okay, and I've seen other people doing it, and it's a way to do it. It's a way to go. It's just not the way I chose. If you've got like a disposable vessel, or you think you can get the gypsum out of your vessel and reuse it, go for it. Give it a shot. Now, do remember that most calcium nitrate is only agricultural grade, and there's going to be a lot of impurities in it, which are going to wind up in your nitric acid. So that's another reason I chose to make potassium nitrate first, because I could repurify those crystals by recrystallization several times and wind up with a very pure product. You'll wind up with a very pure, very dry potassium nitrate product to start with, and a very pure, very dry sulfuric acid product to start with. When you combine them, you get very pure, very dry nitric acid. Okay, so you could do it any way you want to, but your acid may not be as good as mine, and you may have issues along the way. But feel free to experiment. Um, some people have to learn the hard way. So, yeah, feel free to experiment. All right, tin recovery. This is proving to be a very popular video, and there's going to be more videos in that series coming. We got lots of things about tin recovery. Um, let's see here. First off, people have been, and I've been doing it too, is like depopulating boards or delegging ICs in AP solution, and after a while, your AP solution is full of copper and tin. And they're like, "Hey, Mike, how do I get the tin out of my AP solution that's also full of copper?" Well, that is a trick, isn't it? If you figure out how to do it, you let me know. Um, because tin and copper are very hard to separate. I mean, you could put some iron in there and let the iron cement out the less reactive metals, like the tin and the copper. But they're going to be a mixture of the two. Basically, you'll be making a bronze, whether you like it or not. And then, um, once you've got a bronze, you really can't. It's very difficult to separate the two metals, tin and copper, once they're together. So, don't know exactly how to do that. Um, Maybe I'll do some experimenting on that in the future, because I've probably got 5 gallons of AP solution that's just loaded with tin and copper too. Um, yeah, I could separate. I could get all the metal out of it, but as to separating the metals, that's the hard part. Getting the metals out is easy. Okay, another one. My buddy Tim Toolman up in Montana, he saw the video where I threw the little ramstick boards away after getting the tin off of them, after getting the ICs and stuff off of them. And I knew people would complain about that I was, being wasteful or polluting or whatever. But Tim Toolman says, "Hey, you should have sent those to me. I could run them through my granulator and get the copper out of them." And I hadn't thought about that. So I talked a little bit to Tim Toolman via email, and he says, yeah, his granulator does a pretty good job of chopping up the PC boards and separating the fiberglass from the copper. So, okay. Well, if you've got a granulator or access to one, don't throw your, PC boards away after you strip the tin solder off of them. Run them through there and get the copper. Yeah, I don't have one. But Tim may be getting a care package for me in the future from the last batch of boards I ran through muriatic acid to strip the tin off of. So, be careful what you ask for. You might just get it. All right. Let's see. Another one. Several people said, that black powder you're filtering out of the muriatic acid after you strip the tin, that's got precious metals in it, right? And, well, I was wondering about that myself. So on the last batch I did, I did like I did before. I filtered the liquid to get all the grunge out of it before concentrating it down and then converting it to tin oxide. I kept the filter with all the grunge on it. I put that filter in some aqua regia and dissolved it. and I tested the aqua regia with stannous chloride solution. And I could not swear in a court of law that I saw any trace of precious metals there. But it's a good thought because, yeah, there's probably some palladium in there. There's probably some gold in there, maybe in very small amounts. So I think what I'll do is in the future, as I do this, I'll save the filters with my other filters and rags storage and just process them all together just in case there is any small amount of gold or silver or palladium present in them. I'll get that back when I process the filters. So good call on that, even though I could not confirm that there was any precious metal there. And then one more thing about tin recovery. I got several comments that say, hey, electrolysis is the only way to recover tin. Well, I will say this. Electrolysis is one way to recover tin. All right, electrolysis has its own problems. So we may explore electrolysis in the future. For now, I'm converting my tin to tin oxide for eventual conversion back to tin metal, which I've had some success on. I'm doing a lot of R&D off camera, and once I have something perfected, we will look at turning the tin oxide back to tin metal. But there are other ways. Electrolysis is another way. Like I say, it has its own issues, but we may in the future look at some electrolysis too. Okay, the whole silver-plated wire series, which I'm up to 5 videos, which at the time of this recording, I think only 4 of them have been released. Yes, I know, it's impractical. It's impractical. I've already figured that out. I figured that out by the second video in the series, that getting the silver out of this stuff is impractical, okay? Justin, if you're watching, anybody else who's got a lot of this silver-plated mil-spec wire with the Teflon insulation on it, it's not worth it. Take it to the scrapyard, take whatever they'll give you for it, and run, okay? Because getting the silver out is not practical, it's not economical, it's not worth it. But I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm learning some stuff. Even though it's a little frustrating, I'm still having fun and learning stuff. And I think by the time video 5 comes out, you'll see I've got kind of an easy peasy method of getting the silver out of the wire. Most of it, maybe 80% of it. I can't get it all, but I can get maybe 80% of it fairly easy. Now, that being said, it's only easy if you have somebody like Tim Toolvan to granulate the stuff for you and sift it so that you're working with almost 100% pure wire. And then, you've got to have, a few chemicals, and I'd have to run the numbers to see if it's actually economical or if I'm still going in the hole. But it's a whole lot easier than stripping the wire yourself and dissolving it in nitric acid and then precipitating the silver or cementing it out. So I've got an easier method. It's probably not still economical. And if somebody were to drop, a crap ton of this wire on me again in the future, I'm just going to load it in the truck and take it straight to the scrapyard. But I am learning stuff. And I do have a process that pretty much works. And with the help of Tim Toolman, it's a lot easier. So there will probably be one more video at least beyond number 5, which will probably be out before this video is. Just where I will scale up the process I have now and run the rest of the material I have, and then finally maybe be done with it, okay? But yes, it's really just a learning experience at this point. Like somebody said in one of the comments, okay, you've already decided you're not going to make any money at this. You're going in the hole. Just look at it as a learning experience, something to have fun with and learn something new with. So that's the way I'm looking at it, And, you guys seem to like to watch the videos, so we're both making out. And let's see here. The tin recovery, again, back to that, was very, very popular. And that was a viewer suggestion. So actually several viewers over the years. more than several, have said, hey, okay, it's great. You're getting the gold, you're getting the silver, you're getting the copper here. What about the tin? What about the tin? Show me how to get the tin. Show me how to get the tin. The tin's valuable. You're forgetting about the tin. So finally, I decided, okay, we'll look into the tin. So that was a viewer request. So if you guys have anything you'd like to see me do, hey, leave a suggestion, leave a comment. We'll see if I can accommodate you. If it looks interesting to me, I can't promise I will um, take up every challenge people give me. But if it looks interesting to me and enough people are asking for it, yeah, maybe we'll try it. All right, let's go on to channel announcements. All right, there's going to be some changes here at Omega Geek 64. And basically, probably for at least the next month, and maybe a lot longer than that, there's going to be fewer videos coming out. Sorry, I hate to lose my audience. You guys are a great audience. And I know if I don't put out videos fairly regularly, you're going to start drifting away. But, well, basically, I'm going back to work. I know. I thought I was retired. Well, I've always been semi-retired, okay? Um, the last employer I had that I was kind of involuntarily retired from, they just gave me a big package to go away when they eliminated my position. I've been with the company for basically 30 years almost of seniority. So they gave me a big package to just go away. So I've just been sort of coasted, you know. But they keep calling me back to do consulting work. A few times a year I'll go back there and do some consulting work. It usually doesn't last more than a day or two or three, and done. And this last time I went over there, well, it's actually been a couple times now. I went over there, and the guy I was working with said, "Let me take you over and introduce you to the new engineering manager. He wants to talk to you." I said, okay. So I go in there, and we're sitting in his office chatting, and I'm thinking to myself, this is starting to sound like a job interview. And well, basically, they want me to come back to work on a couple of projects, um, and it's going to be temporary at first, but it may morph into something more permanent down the road. So, and I'm like, well, I don't really want to go back to work full time. They asked me, what I was going to charge for this, and I gave them my I don't really want to go back to work, price, and they didn't even blink and say, when can you start? So I probably should have asked for more. But it looks like November. I will probably spend most of the month of November working, probably back to the 9 to 5 thing through November to finish a couple of big projects for them. And then beyond that, it's kind of hazy. They have a consulting engineer position that they would like to put me into, but as to how much time I'm going to be spending working there every week or every month, it's a little hazy. Basically, as needed, but probably not spending as much time here doing my thing as in the past. So, November, pretty much, it'll be nose to the grindstone, back to the 9 to 5 thing, probably. And then beyond that, I'm not sure. But anyway, there will probably be fewer videos released in the future because I'll just go be busy working. I've got to earn my money from these people, so I can't be here making videos on their time. So, also, I'm going on the road for a few weeks here in October, so got to go out west and deal with some issues out in the western properties the wife and I own, Arizona, Wyoming. Got to winterize the Wyoming place before it gets to 45 below again out there. So I got to get out there and winterize it and do some stuff in Arizona. And there may be some videos from the road. I know you guys, you're not into the travel logs, so I'm not making travel logs anymore. But we might visit some mines. We might visit some gold mines. You might find that interesting. So there might be some videos from the road that come out of this road trip. So watch for those. If I can find a place to upload them, they'll happen in October. A lot of the places I go, the internet's so slow, uploading just isn't an option. So they may have to wait till I get back. But if I can find a place to upload them out west, well, you may see them here in October. So watch for those videos. That's what's going on. And, after November, we'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens. Anyway, it's an opportunity I can't really pass up because, I asked for a lot of money and they're willing to give it. So I'm going for it. We'll see how it works out. Anyway, there's your channel announcements. There's your Q&A session. I hope I answered a lot of your questions. If not, leave more comments and questions and suggestions. And, well, there'll be more of these Q&A videos in the future. They're pretty easy to make. So keep the questions coming. And thanks a lot for watching. And check out my two other channels, Electric Geek 64 and Mike's Lapidary and Fossils. There will be probably fewer videos on those channels too, but there's good stuff there already, and there will be more coming. So check those out, and thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in future videos. Bye.